Hello neighbor, this is Kurt at eTrailer. Today we're going to be taking a look at the Westin Sure Grip running board in anodized aluminum on our 2024 Toyota Tacoma. Now if you have any experience with the Sure Grip Westin running boards, please leave a comment below. We'd love to share your experience with our other neighbors just to help them make the best decision for themselves. Now this running board is going to come in at 6 inches wide, 4.5 inches on the rubberized textured grip that it has. This is a really nice design in that you really do get a good sure footing when you're getting in and out of your vehicle. Even in those wet and icy conditions, it still does a great job. It's got these channels running through the grip that is really going to help with distributing any of that moisture or water coming off of your boots or shoes, and just ensuring that you got a good dry place to step every time getting in the vehicle. And being 6 inches wide and 4.5 on the grip again is enough, really. Just about any shoe or boot size is going to do a good job on here as far as getting that grip in and out of the vehicle. Now, this is the anodized aluminum version. Gives it a really nice chrome finish that really kind of gives it a good sleek and updated type of look. Now, before we get too in depth, I want to let you know that there are two different aesthetics that you can get in this running board. We have the black aluminum. We also have the anodized aluminum with a little bit more of a chrome finish to it. So as previously mentioned, the step on this is definitely wide enough for pretty much any shoe size to get in and out and still be able to take advantage of that rubberized grip right there. It also doesn't really protrude too far from the vehicle itself. So it does keep that kind of sleek factory looking finish with it, rather than being kind of one of those running boards that really has more of a rugged look. It doesn't always fit well with the vehicle. This can go on just about any truck or SUV and look really good. Now, one of the reasons why I think it's important to have a running board on your Tacoma is that really the step up to get into this truck, even though it's a smaller truck, is really high. You've got roughly a 22-inch step from the ground to get to this point right here to get into the vehicle. But with the running board, you're going to cut that down to a 14.5-inch step here up to about an 8-inch step here. So that's going to make it much easier and much safer for you getting in and out of your Tacoma. I think the way that this comes out, we have the brackets so that the running board is pushed toward the vehicle as much as possible. You can adjust that again to come out if, say, perhaps you put bigger tires on it and you got a wider profile. You may want to bring this out some, and that's totally up to you and how it looks. But I think that having the grip is completely accessible even from the threshold of the door. You can't really miss it getting in and out. So the running board also runs completely under both doors, which is something else that we're going to make sure that we have. We want full access to all 4 doors of the vehicle. And really, I think it fits the vehicle very well. It does give it kind of an OEM appearance. It's not an overly rugged type of running board, so it does have a sleek factory look to it. The only thing about this particular vehicle, though, is that this one that we have here today really has very little chrome on it. So if you're somebody that wants to add a little bit of chrome to it, I think that this anodized aluminum would be a great one. You'd still have some chrome here and on the SR5 logo. However, in my opinion, I think the black one is one that you would want to look at as well, just to see if you like the difference between the chrome look or that more all black look. There's also an LED light kit that you could add onto the purchase of this running board that's going to provide 2 small lights, one under each door, really help you at nighttime getting in and out of the vehicle and making sure you use the step completely. Now that we've taken a look at all the features on this running board, let's take a look at how we got it installed. So the first thing we're going to do is take our passenger front bracket, which is easily identifiable because it's at this angle, plus it has the stamping on it we discussed before. And each bracket is going to require 2 of those hex bolt assemblies that we showed you. And I've got my 13mm socket wrench. Now the first thing I'm going to need to do is remove the existing bolts that are under here, which are located at an angle here and here. On our passenger side is going to go with this next set of bolts here. There's no angle to this as far as the bracket goes, so they're just going to go on pretty directly. Now, what you're also going to find is that the next set and the next set after is really going to be dependent on the type of vehicle and the type of running boards you get as far as which of these sets to use for your third passenger side bracket. If you have a shorter cab, this is likely the set you're going to need to use. If you have the double cab, this is the set that you're going to likely use. It could also be dependent on the type of running boards you get, but these are going to go on the same way, regardless of which one of these you end up going with. And we're simply going to need to repeat this same process over on the driver's side. Now, we've got our first rear mount installed on the passenger side, but something that we noticed as we were taking the Toyota bolts out is that the Westin install guide is going to let you know that you need a 13mm wrench for the bolt heads, which is true of the bolts that come with the bracket kit. However, the Toyota bolts that we're removing, we found out are actually 12mm. So 12mm, well, this is the 13mm. You can see how loose that is. That really gave us a fight as far as getting these out. So get yourself a 12mm wrench as well for the removal of the Toyota bolts. You will need the 13mm, however, when we install the bolts from the install kit. Now that we've got our bracket installed, we're going to show you how the running boards install onto the bracket. Being so low to the ground, it's a little difficult to show this on camera. So we're going to show you how this works here. Now what we've done is gone ahead and turned our running board over, and we're going to see these 3 rows of T-slots here. Now, for this particular bracket, what we're going to be using is these outside ones here. We're going to take our square head bolts and we're going to slide 3 of them into the T-slot there, and we're going to take another 3 of them and put them in the T-slot on the bottom. So you'll have 3 sets of these top and bottom that'll go onto our 3 brackets. And the way that they're going to attach to the bracket is simply by going through these ovular holes that are sticking out from under the vehicle. The bracket will go on as such. And as you can see, these ovular holes here are going to allow you to slide the bracket in and out away from the vehicle. Depending on the vehicle that you have, you may want it all the way in or possibly all the way out. The important thing is we want it to look flush on the vehicle. So once that goes on there, you'll be putting on your washer and your bolt. You're going to hand tighten these down because, again, we're going to save the torquing of all the bolts for last. Now, before we put the bracket on there, there's one more thing we need to do to prep our board. Now, the running board kit is also going to contain this flange here, and this flange is going to be installed on the running board, and what it's going to do is really help cover any gap between the bottom of the car door and the top of the running board. To do that, you'll see it's got this L shape at the end here and this slot right here. We're just going to feed that through. You'll have to bend it slightly, and we're going to feed it through to the end of our running board. It's a little bit stiff, so you do have to fight with it some at first. But once you get it running in there pretty good, it'll slide down pretty easily the rest of the way. Okay, now that we've got our running board placed on the brackets, we've hand tightened the bolts down just to keep it from shifting around before we do our torquing, which is the last thing that we're going to do with this. We've got our torque wrench set right now at 15 pounds. 15 to 18 is what the instructions require on this. So now we're going to go in. There are 12 bolts per side of the vehicle, and it's time to torque down each one of those bolts. So there's a look at the Westin Sure Grip running boards on our 2024 Toyota Tacoma. I'm Kurt with eTrailer. Thanks for stopping by.